2012, we had something just like this. The warnings came repeatedly, and of course, some saw the gains through the excess water and maybe probably felt they were not under so much threat. And now these people involved are probably people who just can't, the pains of relocating is there. They really can't afford to move, or they're trying hard to survive. And these are people who really don't have much, livelihood, so to speak. How do you think they're going to take this warning this time around?
The 2012 is still fresh in their memories. Majority of them lived through 2012, so they knew the crisis level in 2012. So what we're telling them is that this is as bad as 2012 or could be worse, because the water level now is already higher than what we had in 2012. So if the same thing happens, what is the difference between 2012 and now is that we probably have some bigger channels that can take some of the waters, but it's still going to affect them. It's still going to put their lives at risk. It's still going to put their properties at risk. So it's in their best interest to begin to move to higher grounds now, temporarily, understanding that this will be over maybe in 2-3 weeks maximum, once the water levels, once the Nigerian Meteorological Agency and the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency tells us that things are better. Then we'll also tell them that they can take it for granted that they are no longer at risk, and they can begin return back to their farms and continue doing what they know how to do.
What about NEMA, especially in the states, the state of preparedness?
What we need to understand is that the NEMA is a national body. The state emergency management agencies are also supposed to have a level of preparedness. It is only when it overwhelms them that the law provides for NEMA to come in and be the provider of last resort. So what we've done is that in the last 6 months, we've been working with the states to make sure that we increase their level of readiness. We work with NEMA and the SEMAs. We've helped them to develop response plans. We've helped them to budget what it would cost them to respond. We've helped them to simulate what it means to work with other stakeholders so that they're not seeing themselves as, the first responders only. There are other responders like the fire service, like the security and civil defense corps, like the state branches of the Nigerian Red Cross. So all these people, we bring them together in workshops and we train them on the tools that they're going to use for assessments, on the items that they need to pre-position, like keep aside for family usage during the crisis, so that they know precisely this is what we will need, and this is where people will go. So the key thing for us now is that we need to create massive awareness for people to know that the risk is there and that they need to probably relocate or better prepare for such emergencies. We also need them to identify places that are up stream that they can go to as temporary relocation areas, and if possible pre-position or keep some items that they may need in the event of those emergencies in those locations, and then alert the security agencies, alert the first responders, and let everybody be on red alert, knowing that if this happens, this is where we're supposed to go, and these are the things that are supposed to be already there. And when we are going to stay for 1 week, for instance, we know that if we have 1,000 people there, this is the budget that will help us to take care of the 1,000 people. So when we are doing fundraising with our principals, our governors and all that, we know precisely what it will take based on the assessment results to say if we have 1,000, it's going to cost us 1 million naira to take care of them. So if we have 2,000, maybe it will take 2 million naira to take care of them. So we have an idea of the budget that we're going to need. We have an idea of where people are going to move to. We have an idea of the people that are at risk, the vulnerable groups that are probably people that are on the plains, on the lower part of the water parts, that, or based on the experience of 2012. We also have asked the NEMA to provide graphical pictures to states so that they could have an idea of what it was and the places that were at risk and the places that were inundated in 2012. Because now we have new governors who may not actually be in the picture of what happened in those days. Sometimes even the state emergency management agencies were not up and running in 2012, or they are new executives now because they are new governors. So we need to bring all of them to speed, to know that this is what it was pictorially, so that people can say, oh, wow, so this whole place was underwater. And then they know that, okay, so there's a risk of it repeating itself. So what do we do with those people? So sometimes even the people that are living in those areas, they recently moved there in the last 2 years or so. So they didn't know that those places they've moved into now, they probably found them empty after 2012 because some people moved out and they moved in, and now we can show them pictures and say, see where you are, and then they can say, oh, maybe it's time for me to also temporarily relocate and see how it is. So sometimes even in the cities, it does happen. In Asaba, for instance, there was a place called Infant Jesus that was completely underwater for about 2 weeks, and it's a whole town.
When was that?
In 2012.
Okay.
So I know that the former governor did a whole lot of work, putting drainages and canals in those areas. So hopefully those will help now and reduce those risks.
Okay, so given your office, I'm sure you'll be keeping tabs, and we'll be talking to you from time to time. Thank you, Ms. Olusoji, for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Relevant government agencies and policymakers are taking steps to respond adequately to the incidents of flood in the predicted areas, and a few things have been made clear in the measures taken so far. One is that time is short, and local action is of utmost importance to avoid a reoccurrence and a humanitarian crisis. Thank you for watching this week. I'm Gloria Umezuke. See you again.